Hi, thank you for joining us on this episode of Sports Bets for Free. My name is Scott Jenkins, your host, just a local sports bettor here in Phoenix, Arizona. And hopefully today with our picks and your picks, it's going to be another profitable day for you. Saturday, March 2nd, basketball slated games for us today. Only a few games in the NBA, but a huge college basketball game day as normal on a Saturday. So let's get right into this. Good day for us yesterday. We've had a really good week with one blip in the middle. But it's been a really solid week. A lot of units up so far this week, so let's continue it on this Saturday. Saturdays are those games in college basketball can get a little crazy, that is for sure. But we'll take a look at making you some money today. So first game up that we're on, college basketball-wise, going to be South Carolina and the Florida game. I know we're coming on a little bit, by the time you see this uploaded, it'll be a little bit late here. But hopefully, been checking out the Google Sheets sometimes on Saturday and Sunday. We're a little bit behind as the games start really early out here out to the west. So we do like South Carolina in this particular matchup. Main reason here is at home. South in the SEC, home court advantage has meant the world here. I think the teams, South Carolina might be a little bit better team, but Florida can create a lot of problems for people. But we just like South Carolina, that home court advantage today. Line currently sitting at 1.5, 1.5, total around 144.5. We will take South Carolina -1 in the first half and -1.5 for the game. One more time, South Carolina -1 first half, -1.5 for the game. Next game that we're on here is going to be Kansas at Baylor. Line somewhere around 4.5, crept up like 5.5, total around 145.5. Baylor comes off a game, with the Houston game that they should have won after they got absolutely trounced and blitzed in the first half. They came back in the second half, played fantastic. Kansas has struggled on the road the whole Big 12 conference. They lost to West Virginia on the road. They lost to UCF on the road. They lost to Iowa State on the road. I don't expect them to win here today, and it hurts being a Kansas fan that's going to happen. But I just see Baylor being way too much here, way too much from the three. Kansas tends to not shoot well on the road. They shoot well at neutral site and at home, but it just seems like on the road they can't get anything done. So Baylor -2.5 first half, -4.5 for the game. One more time, Baylor -2.5 first half, -4.5 for the game. Next game that we're on is going to be Oregon. Let's see. We'll go Arkansas, Kentucky. Apologize about that. So Kentucky at home, one of the most popular teams to bet on in college basketball. Why? Because they fill it up. Arkansas can score as well. This should be a pretty entertaining game if you like scoring. So we are going to take the Arkansas, Kentucky over 78 first half total, and over 165.5 total. I mean, right now it looks like it's actually went down to 164.5. Kentucky about 13.5 point favorite. But we like the over even at 165.5, so you're getting it even cheaper here. So Arkansas, Kentucky over 78 total first half and over 165.5 for the game. Next game up for us is going to be Oregon, Arizona. Oregon traveling to Tucson. Arizona laying 13.5, 158.5 total currently. We like this game quite a bit on the total as well. The total really hasn't moved. Arizona can light this thing up. Oregon can score quite a few points. Should have another entertaining game here. Oregon, Arizona over 75.5 total first half, over 158.5 total for the game. One more time, Oregon, Arizona over 75.5 total first half, over 158.5 total for the game. And let's get to the next game here. Just a FYI, Oklahoma State, Texas. We currently not playing this game, but even though Texas favored by 9.5, we'd have a lean there. Duquesne, George Mason. I like Duquesne here, getting 3.5 on the road, so that'd be another lean. Haven't placed that bet yet, but if you're looking to bet those games, those are a couple leans that we do like there. Marquette, Creighton. We still might come back to this one yet. I was hoping this line would actually come down, but Creighton favored by 6.5. So quite a few points. I mean, I know Creighton beat UConn by 20, but I think they just kind of overwhelmed them in the middle of the week on that one. But might be a game we go back to as well. Next game up, though, for us is going to be Penn State, Minnesota. Minnesota's been, if you've been on them most of the season like we have, they're 24-4, I think, against the number. The numbers crept up. It opened at 5.5 yesterday, currently at 6.5. But we love Minnesota here today. Penn State is shorthanded and on the road. Minnesota should be able to take care of business here. Minnesota minus 3.5 first half, minus 5.5 for the game. One more time, Minnesota minus 3.5 first half, minus 5.5 for the game. Let's see. Next game up for us in college here. We'll get to it here. Let's see. Another game we're looking at, and we'll probably make a play here, South Carolina at Charlotte as well. Just a heads up. South Florida at Charlotte. Charlotte's been really good, but South Florida is the number one team in that conference and getting 4.5 on the road. So we'll swing back to that one, but that one's definitely on the radar. Auburn, Mississippi State, that one's on the radar as well. But we'll get into the 2 o'clock Phoenix game, 4 o'clock Eastern time. Iowa State traveling to UCF. If this game was in Ames and they were favored by 10, I would take Iowa State here. But UCF seems to have something magical that happens at home against Big 12 opponents, especially since it's the first time they're going down there. We do like UCF getting the points at home. It's hard to turn down those points. It's 3.5 to 4. So UCF plus 2 first half, UCF plus 4 for the game. One more time, UCF plus 2 first half and plus 4 for the game. And especially Iowa State likes to grind it out a little bit. So anytime you can get points sometimes, them on the road, not a bad way to go. North Carolina State's at that same time frame. Interesting game. We'll look at that one. No lean currently on that. And then we'll get into the rest of it here as we scroll through. There's only 150 games plus on Saturday, right? So it might take a couple minutes to get through them here on that one. But a lot of college basketball, obviously, on Saturdays. So let's see here. Iowa Northwestern's another interesting game. Probably lean Northwestern there, only given 2.5 at home. Texas Tech. That game's kind of tough because West Virginia's been kind of all over the map, but they have been a little tough at home with a 2.5 point line there. Same thing with Texas A&M and Georgia. Georgia's been really good at home. Texas A&M okay on the road on that one there. So Virginia and Duke, not a real lean there. Normally those games are extremely tight. And we'll eventually get to the rest of the games we got here. Next game up, 5 o'clock out here in Phoenix, so 7 o'clock Eastern. UCLA traveling to Pullman to Washington State. Now, Washington State did get a win earlier in the week, but no cover against USC. Now they got the second half of the LA teams coming in UCLA. Washington State is a much better team here, and only having to lay 6.5 seems a little crazy. I thought this line would be closer to 10, but we'll gladly take this one and move on with life. Washington State minus 3 first half, minus 6.5 for the game. One more time, Washington State minus 3 first half, minus 6 for the game. Or 6.5 for the game. Sorry about that one. And then we've got San Francisco only laying 2.5 at Santa Clara is kind of interesting as well. If you like that one, we definitely would probably lean San Francisco. K-State traveling to Cincinnati. K-State has played pretty well at home in the Big 12 Conference. They've got some big wins. Unfortunately, on the road, it's not the same, and they don't have any wins. Not any wins worth speaking of. Going to Cincinnati. Cincinnati, the line has moved. It did open at 5.5. Now it's at 6.5. Most books there. But we like Cincinnati at home today and taking care of business and kind of cruising to maybe 10, 12-point win. So we'll take Cincinnati minus 3.5 first half, minus 5.5 for the games where we got it. I still like it at the 6.5 number. Cincinnati minus 3.5 first half, minus 6.5 for the game. And then we'll get to the next game here. Boise State, New Mexico is going to be the next one on the board for us. New Mexico we love New Mexico at the start of the season, but they are in a swoon that they can't seem to get out of. They got beat at home by Air Force. I think they were only a 15-point favorite in that one. Just absolutely butt-ass ugly. The line has moved. Boise State opened as a 2.5-point favorite. Now it's roughly about 3.5. I still like Boise State a lot at the 3.5 number, but we did get the 2.5 last night. But Boise State minus 2 first half, minus 2.5 for the game. One more time, Boise State -2 first half, -2.5 for the game. This is one of our favorite plays of the day as well. Next game up for us. There's a lot of games at this time slot here. I mean, Purdue, Michigan State, I think should be a great game. I don't like the number at 10.5 is, it could go, I'll be really honest, I'd probably favor Michigan State getting the 10.5 points. Tennessee, Alabama, that's another game we really like, but I mean, Alabama's going to have to shoot extremely well from the 3 to cover that number. Houston, Oklahoma is another one of those games that we really like as well. We haven't played anything yet. We would lean Houston on that one. I think even though Oklahoma's good at home, I think Houston's got enough firepower and the great defense in order to make that one happen. Next game up, though, 7 o'clock out here in Phoenix, 9 o'clock East Coast, BYU, TCU. Two of the three best three-point shooting teams in the Big 12. BYU, though, at home is different. They are completely different at home. They have a huge home court advantage here. That's why this line has moved as well. BYU was opened at 5.5 yesterday. The line's currently at 7.5. It's getting to the point where it's a question. I'd still bet it at the 7.5. I just would bet it a lot smaller unit size on that one. But we do like BYU here, -3.5 first half, -5.5 for the game, as they're just a monster at home. So one more time, BYU -3.5 first half, -5.5 for the game. And then California, Utah. Utah's probably one of those teams we're probably going to take another look at as well. That line just a little too nice. And same thing with UNLV and San Jose State. San Jose State, unfortunately, got awful. One of the best games of the night, though, going off at 10 o'clock Eastern time. Gonzaga-St. Mary's should be really interesting here. St. Mary's been in control of the conference pretty much all conference long. Gonzaga's played really well as of late and just beat San Francisco by double digits as well. So, but St. Mary's favored by 2.5 in that game. So something to look at there if you're looking for a late college basketball game. We'd have a slight lean towards St. Mary's just because being at home in that particular one. We'll get into the NBA. Just a 5-game slate, so not we have quite a few bets, but not a ton of action here. Hawks at the Nets. Nets blew them out in the last game, so back-to-back here. Normally, unless there's a big discrepancy in the teams, normally you're not going to get both sides of it, win both sides of those. We like the Hawks in this one. They're somewhere between a 1-point favorite and a pick 'em. We did grab them at a money line bet. But we like Hawks, money line first quarter, third quarter, first half, and game. DeJounte Murray, we think, is going to have another big game. He had a great game the other night, over 23.5 points. We'll also play him 25-plus points, 30-plus points, 2+ threes, 3+ threes, over 37.5 par, and under 3.5 turnovers. We also like Jalen Johnson. He kind of had an off night the other night, didn't have a ton of rebounds. We expect him to get on the rebound prowess at over 9.5, so we need 10 rebounds for that one to cash. So one more time in this Hawks Nets game. Hawks money line first quarter, third quarter, first half, and game. DeJounte Murray over 23.5 points, 25-plus points, 30-plus points, 2+ threes, 3+ threes, over 37.5 par. That's points, assists, rebounds combined, and under 3.5 turnovers. And then Jalen Johnson to get 10+ rebounds. Next game up on the NBA slate is going to be the Jazz going to Miami, going to South Beach against the Heat. Heat currently 7.5, 8-point favorite, total around 223.5. If you've watched basketball in the NBA this season, I don't know how you could ever bet the Jazz on the road against anybody. And Miami is definitely a tough place to play here. Every time they've went out east, it's been ugly for the Jazz. I kind of expect the same thing here. On this one, it's just hard to get a dive on player props. We're not Hero possibly could be back tonight. Terry Rozier possibly back tonight. But we do like the Heat in this situation. Heat -2 first quarter, -4 first half, -7.5 for the game. The Lauri Markkanen threes bet is still over 2.5 and only at -140. When he's at 3.5, it's a question mark whether to bet it. At 2.5, there is no question. Just bet the over. Markkanen over 2.5 threes. Bam over 10.5 rebounds. And Colin Sexton over 1.5 threes, even though he's consistently been hitting 2 threes a game. But we do like Sexton over 2.5 turnovers against that Miami defense. And it was pretty juicy, too. plus 145 on DraftKings, so an excellent value there. So one more time, Heat -2 first quarter, -4 first half, -7.5 for the game. Marketed over 2.5 threes. Bam, over 10.5 rebounds. Colin Sexton over 1.5 threes and over 2.5 turnovers. Next game up, we have to watch a repeat of the Trailblazers and the Grizzlies. Blazers win by 20 plus. Another one of those back-to-back games. We don't like the side or the total here. Don't really even want to watch this game, but I'm sure we'll keep an eye on it here. But we're going back to the well of Anthony Simons under. All of them cashed last night. We expect the same tonight. So Simons under 23.5 points, under 3.5 threes made, and under 33.5 par. One more time, Simons under 23.5 points, under 3.5 threes, and under 33.5 par. We'll get the last two games of the NBA schedule are probably the two best on the board. Nuggets at the Lakers. This should be a big game. Currently, money line game. So the Nuggets, ever since the All-Star break, have been lights out and have been playing great defensively. Lakers, on the other hand, have struggled to beat teams like the Wizards at home. I don't know how the Nuggets aren't favored in this particular game. I'm in shock. So we're going to take the Nuggets money line and hammer away. So money line, first quarter, third quarter, first half, and game. Like I said, I don't know. I mean, it almost smells fishy to me that the Nuggets aren't favored here. I understand their road record all season long has not been fantastic, but if you've watched them since the break, even on the road, man, they've turned into all of a sudden they decided, you know what, we need to get the 1 seed because this West looks awful damn tough. So definitely like the Nuggets there. But we also like Jokic over 27.5 points, over 50.5 par. Jamal Murray over 21.5 points, 3+ threes, 4+ threes. LeBron over 2.5 turnovers. And we'll take the Lakers under the 112.5 team total. Like I said, the defense for the Nuggets has been stellar since the All-Star break. And offensively, they seem to be clicking a little bit as well. Should be, I think Nuggets cruise in this one. It could be a, easy 10+ point victory. So Nuggets money line, first quarter, third quarter, first half, and game. Jokic over 27.5 points, over 50.5 par. LeBron over 2.5 turnovers. Lakers under 112.5 team total. And then we like Jamal Murray to go off here. So over 21.5 points for Murray, 3+ threes, and 4+ threes. Last game of the night, another repeat game, as there seems to be a lot of them going on right at the moment. Suns, Rockets. So last game here, Suns kind of dominated this game and, didn't end up covering at an 8.5 point spread on Thursday night. Just kind of looked like lackluster, went through the motions a little bit in the fourth quarter. But this is what the Suns do. The Suns either come out hot, which Booker had a 20-point first quarter, hit 4 threes, ends up with 35 for the game. So great game, but 20 points of it in the first quarter. And then all of a sudden they just can't, they can't finish that game off. Now Durant did not have a great game, I don't think, shooting wise. So if he kind of picks up it sounds like Bradley Beal could be back for this matchup here. They need to get this together. They got the Thunder coming into town. I think it's on Tuesday. That's a game that's going to be really tough. You got to take care of this business. But the Suns are on a 9-game winning streak at home. The Rockets are just piss poor on the road. Not anything of their fault. They're extremely young. They've played pretty well at home. And I think they've got a better record than probably what we expected out of the Rockets this season. But Jalen Green's been he looks like he's going to be a really nice piece for them. Van Vliet's been kind of, if he can stay healthy, he's been a steady point guard. He's not scoring near as much. Sengun is the one that's been kind of, the Suns have caused him some problems. Or Sengun or Sengun, however you want to pronounce his name today. But he's had some problems with the Suns. He fouled out in the game the other night. He's been well under his point total going against them. The Suns seem to have his number. Nurkic kind of pushes him around a little bit on that one. But we do like the Suns tonight, even though, like I said, they didn't cover the 8.5 the other night. It's 9.5 tonight. But the way we kind of bet, I'll take a first quarter and first half win and lose and not necessarily cover the game and cover a lot of player props, and we're going to make a lot of money. So Suns -3 first quarter, -5.5 first half, -9.5 for the game. A lot of Booker props tonight. I think he has another great game against them. I don't know if he's going to score 20 in the first quarter and have 4 threes, but if he does, fantastic. But Booker over 26.5 points, Booker for 30-plus points, Booker over 8.5 points in the first quarter, as he does play the full first quarter normally as well. So Booker 3+ threes, 4+ threes, and over 35.5 par. Jusuf Nurkic 10+ rebounds. A little juicy, but the difference between 10 and 11 sometimes is a big number when it comes to rebounds on this one there. We also like Sengun under 19.5 points, under 5.5 points the first quarter. We're probably also going to go back and look and make sure we can get look at his par bet and stuff like that as well, and under rebounds. He typically doesn't rebound the ball well either in this particular matchup. But one more time in the Suns-Rockets game, Suns -3 first quarter, -5.5 first half, -9.5 for the game. Booker over 26.5 points, 30+ points, over 8.5 points first quarter, 3+ threes, 4+ threes, and over 35.5 par. Nurkic 10+ rebounds. Sengun under 19.5 points and under 5.5 points in the first quarter. So we mentioned this probably before. Google Sheets, it's a ledger of all of our bets. That's what it is. It's at the end of every show that we do. On the comment section, you'll see a link that's docs.google.spreadsheet, bunch of other stuff behind it. If you click into that, there'll be multiple tabs underneath. So you'll see like football from 22-23, football 23-24, baseball 23, basketball 23-24. We also got baseball futures for the 24 season. And then we have a separate another tab that's for like golf. We do bet a lot of golf. Formula One just started. We have a lot of bets on that. UFC, things of those nature. So all those bets are listed. They're going to have the bet themselves, what juice we got those at, how many units, what book, and then obviously once the game over, the result. So do go make sure you check that out. We are volume better. We have a lot of bets. It's almost impossible to follow every bet through the video or episode and write it down. So do make sure you do check that out, and that'll give you a full list. And days that were maybe a shade late, or maybe we do not have an episode, you still can go back there, and I'm sure we'll probably still have bets that day, even though we might not have an episode, as we do take the occasional day off when it comes to the episode side. So do make sure you check that out when you get some time. And as always, if you could subscribe and get notifications to our YouTube channel, so when we drop an episode of Sports Bets for Free, you'll get those first. Makes life really simple once you hit that subscribe button. Turn those notifications on for YouTube. You will get a notification to your phone or device to let you know Sports Bets for Free has dropped some new bets. Then it gives you time to match them up with your bets and give you that ton of confidence you need heading to the betting app or betting window. I do appreciate everybody's support as always, and look forward to seeing you on the next episode.